This year's Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Marketing Vice President Nicole Bainey says it's the first time in the parade's 94-year history that a turkey products company has been a sponsor.
The parade's always led off by a turkey. That's their number one float that goes through there, but there's never been a turkey company that has been a sponsor of the parade, and we're really excited about that.
It is a virtual parade this summer. It will be televised, however. Jenny O says it's keeping details on its float under wraps for now, but Bainey says it'll have a lot of glimmer, a lot of glam, and high energy. Weather advisory will expire at 7 this evening. Fargo-Moorhead, we picked up over 2 inches of snow at our KFGO studio, still snowing likely now. Mostly cloudy, snow ending this evening, low near 20 degrees. Tomorrow, partly to mostly cloudy, 26 for the high. Saturday, mostly cloudy, a chance of light snow Saturday afternoon near 22. Sunday, mostly cloudy, chance of light snow Sunday morning, right around 23 degrees for the high. And then mid-20s Monday, mostly sunny. Fargo-Moorhead, light snow, 31. Paul Jerkins, News Radio, KFGO.
The Mighty 790 KFGO. Good afternoon, and welcome back to The Drive. KFGO time coming up on 4:11. I'm Dan Michaels. Paulie Lines is our producer. Paul Jerkins of the KFGO News Center. This is The Drive with Dan Michaels. Great to have you with us this afternoon. Maybe they'll use this theme for the debates.
We'll see.
Moving forward.
Yeah.
This is a song called Lies by the Thompson Twins. What was that first debate? I mean, that was really something else. And so I wanted to go to the pros and find out what what a real debate is like, as we're getting ready for debate number 2 tonight. Or is this number 3?
Number 2, because Donald Trump didn't want to do it virtually. On
That's right.
2.
That's right. So this is debate number 2 tonight, face-to-face. These guys will square off. So we're really pleased to be joined by debate coach Ryan Goke from North Dakota State University. He's the guy in charge of the NDSU Lincoln Speech and Debate Society. Speech and debate activities began at North Dakota Agricultural College in 1896, and the Lincoln Forensic Society, and currently Lincoln Speech and Debate Society, formed in February of 1922. What a long and distinguished pattern of success, career of success they've had at North Dakota State University in debate and speech. And the guy in charge is Ryan Goke. He joins us from NDSU today. Hi, Ryan. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Very good. Thank you so much. So, Ryan, if you don't mind, as you're a debate, is it debate coach, Ryan? Is that the right way to say that?
Yes, that'll work. I do forensics, which means I coach both speech and debate sides of the team.
Got it. Okay. So Ryan's in charge of a very successful debate program up at North Dakota State University. So, Ryan, is what we're seeing on TV between the presidential candidates what you would call a debate?
Not from the last one. No, I wouldn't. I think that at least from a collegiate standpoint, the number one goal of debate is supposed to be education. Right? Like their job through these debates is to raise awareness of a current issue or to inform the audience of their specific plans and policies. And just really show who you are as a competitor or a candidate. And I really don't think that that's what happened at the last debate.
No,
and
not
number
at all.
two, number two, there's definitely going to be stability, right? In the way that you present your message is as important as the message itself. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to discuss through public discourse, well, what's the best way of handling these? And when you focus on ad hominem attacks or straw man fallacies, you don't really get that.
No, you don't get that. So before we go any further, Ryan Goke from North Dakota State University. Ryan, what is the format of a traditional debate that you guys take part in NDSU? How does it work?
Okay. So we predominantly compete in NPDA debate, National Parliamentary Debate, and IPDA, which is International Public Debate. It's focused on extemporaneous limited prep, taking about 20 minutes to prepare their case. They are assigned the side, so they don't get to choose whether they are for or against the issue. And then typically it's going to be roughly equal time between the two teams as they try to advocate for their side. Debates run for IPDA about 30 minutes, and for NPDA debate, it'll last for about 45 minutes.
So how does it work? You get an opening statement, the person gets rebuttal. Then how does it work? How's it? Let me put it this way, Ryan. How's it supposed to work?
Sure. So in theory, if they are abiding by the rules, what happens at the college circuit is you'll have the first speaker will have their opening statement, and then the opposition has their opening statement, and then they'll have a time of cross-examination between the two of them, where if you are the affirmative or pro team for the resolution, you are answering questions, and then you're being cross-examined by your opponent. And then they will switch. So what happens then is the affirmative team again gets a speech followed by an opposition where they're rebutting the cases. New evidence is brought in at those times. They're supposed to be constructing more and more of their case and tearing down their opponent's case. And then you'll have another time of cross-examination between the two. This time, since it's a team sport, what you have is the affirmative team is it's their second speaker, and then vice versa. So everyone gets two speeches for their constructive speeches, and then once all of that dust is settled, then what you have is a time of final rebuttals, where the first speakers from each team wind up setting up their kind of voters, the main issues. What did we see in this debate round? Why are you still voting for my team at the end of this? That's kind of the goal at the end there, a summary, if you will.
Okay. Well, that doesn't look like anything like we're dealing with these presidential debates
No.
at all. So how do you score in a debate? How do you win?
So there's two ways that you can win this in NPDA and IPDA debate. The first is if you are winning or losing the round. So does your judge at the end of the day agree with your ideas and your side? And the second way that you are scored is based off of your speaker points. So how pretty did you sound? How confident? How courteous were you? And that can be everything from did you have like a lack of logical fallacies, right? Were they strong arguments? Did you clash with your opponent's case? And just honestly, generally speaking, were you respectful and nice and pleasant to listen to while you were up there?
Respectful of your opponent. Okay, given that, your thoughts on the presidential debate. I mean, how would you have graded the participants in the first presidential debate?
Not well. I think that it was kind of a story of two people racing to the bottom to see who could do the worst. My criteria, my preference is there's a couple of things I'm looking for. Number one, is their case logical and explained thoroughly, right? So as they're making this case for why their policies should be bought into by the public, is it surface level, or do we really understand what they're talking about? And then number two, do they understand what they're talking about? Right. So do they have a strong understanding of the issue, or does it look like they just read it for 5 minutes and then came in here and tried to, kind of work their way through it and hope people didn't notice? Clash. I'm hoping for no logical fallacies. I think the biggest three I saw throughout the debate from both sides was ad hominem attacks, where you're personally attacking the person instead of focusing on why their ideas are not as strong. We saw a lot of straw man arguments where you kind of misrepresent the exaggerated sides of their case. Right, fascism versus socialism, like kind of the extremes, and saying, well, obviously I'm not that, so vote for me.
So,
begging the.
Go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead.
Oh, and then the last one is begging the question, right, where you kind of assume that your point is true instead of presenting evidence as to why it is. You just kind of go off on a side tangent.
Okay. NDSU debate coach Ryan Goke is joining us. We're talking about debating in general and then the presidential debate tonight. So if you had a student on your debate team who just constantly berated and irritated and interrupted your opponent during a debate, what would your feedback to that student be?
It would not be good. It would, honestly, I think that the general penalty on the circuit, if we have a student do that, is we usually rank them on a scale of 1 to 30, and they don't usually get scored below a 20 unless they have incredibly poor behavior, such as berating. At that instance, you might drop them down to a 10 or a 15 to kind of penalize them with kind of some notes along with that saying this was unacceptable. And if it's really, really, really bad in the round, especially if there's a lot of ad hominem attacks, then there are times where, although they're very few and far between, where the judge can intervene and just kind of say, hey, that's not acceptable behavior here.
So does it drive you crazy when you watch these guys debate and they don't follow any of these rules? How come at the highest level, so you're teaching your kids how to debate in high school, junior high, they're teaching kids to debate there as well and to be a good debater and how to get into an argument and argue as a gentle person, a reasonable person, and win your argument based on its merits. How come at the highest level virtually in the world the office of the presidency of the United States, we don't have these kind of standards.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that it's really a shame that is the case. I think that it's behavior that has been enabled. It's not really discussed, right? Like we have a lot of politicians who perhaps didn't spend their time learning how to construct good arguments or learning really how the system works and how to articulate that well. And then, if they can't do it well, sometimes they throw temper tantrums.
So is it closer to a debate or a all-star wrestling argument?
I think it's difficult to classify it as a debate when there's really not a clash of ideas going on. It's kind of more of a screaming match going on back and forth. Who can speak the longest, the loudest, right? Like what we teach in debate is that you're not supposed to make your argument louder. You're supposed to make it better, right? If it's not connecting, if it's not coming across, where can you fix the underlying issues in your argument, or how can you strengthen that articulation instead of making it louder?
So, okay. Well, there you go. We're gonna leave it right there because that has been a challenge to watch. Anyway, we've got another one on. It's on at 8:00 tonight on KFGO. Yep. So, your team. What a great name for a debate team, the Lincoln Debate Society, Lincoln Speech and Debate Society. You've already been in a competition virtually up at North Dakota State, right?
Yes. So they had one a number of weeks ago, hosted by the University of Central Florida. I don't think anyone's favorite platform is having to be online, but it has had the unique opportunity where they can go a bit more nationally with their competition. So, if we're limited by our time that we can be away from the university without cutting into classes, or if you're limited on funding, virtually competing allows us to, they kind of went down towards the southern area. We had Georgia, Florida, Alabama, those schools on that circuit, so they kind of got to see a different portion of the nation. They did very, very well. They actually, out of the pool of about 50 or so competitors, they made the top 8 spot.
Top 8. I saw pictures of your team with a lot of hardware, and people can go look that up online too. You've got some good debaters on your team.
Yes, actually, they are the defending state champions. So North Dakota is unique because our state tournament is actually North and South Dakota combined, and right now our school is ranked number 1 as a debate team. Also on the speech sides, like persuasive, informative, different poetry events, things like that, they are also ranked top 5. So we have 5 champions in those as well. And then the defending debate team.
That's really cool.
Very, very well.
So what's it take to make a good argument, to take a good stand?
Logic would be one. You have to have facts and reasoning, and it needs to be delivered in a way that connects with your audience. I think that there's kind of this fine line when you're trying to persuade someone, where you need to have facts so that you are credible and believable, but you also need to find what it is that will be most persuasive to them. So having that empathy, that ethos, and that pathos that can connect and help that message be memorable to them. Coach, make it a lot more persuasive.
I'm sorry. Coach Ryan Goke from North Dakota State, the debate coach at North Dakota State, is with us today. So how does one get into debate?
As far as like joining our team, or just in
joining,
general getting debate?
Let's say they're in a kid's in 9th grade and has an aptitude. How do they do it? How do you get into it?
Shoot me an email if they're interested in more information on the collegiate circuit. We are more than happy to get in touch with them. We have our Facebook page. We've got a Twitter. We've got a pretty good social presence, where if people want to look us up and find, have specific questions answered or meet with members of our team, we're more than happy to do that. And
Ryan, what do you think of the fact that the one thing most Americans fear is speaking in public?
I think it's because they are afraid of the unknown. And the first thing I tell my competitors when they come and they work with me is you're going to have to get used to being uncomfortable. It's not something that ever fully goes away. It's just something that you learn to manage, and it's an invaluable skill. So it's one that doesn't necessarily come naturally. It's one that we have to practice. So the more you practice it, the less you're going to fear it.
I always find when I speak in public, everybody's nervous before they go. But after you get that first joke under your belt and people laugh, it seems like you just kind of, you relax.
Yep.
On both sides. Well, this has been very fascinating. Ryan, I'd love to hear what you think after it's over tonight, too. Coach Ryan Goke of the NDSU Speech and Debate Team, the Lincoln Speech and Debate Society at North Dakota State University. Ryan, what's next? When's the next time you guys are debating?
November 1st, just in time to beat the election. We'll be doing a Climb the Mountain tournament. It'll be another online virtual tournament.
All right. Well, we wish you the very best, Ryan, and hope we get a chance to talk again, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you. Ryan Goke, speech and debate coach at North Dakota State University. You're listening to The Drive on the Mighty 790 KFGO.
Dakota Magic Casino isn't playing tricks, just giving you treats. It's the Hallow Wheels giveaway at Dakota Magic Casino. Come and play your favorite slots and table games to earn entries into the October 24th Hallow Wheels drawing. On Saturday, October 24th, starting at 1 p.m., you can be one of 50 winners who take home cash, slot credits, or the grand prize of a brand new set of wheels. For more details, go to DakotaMagicCasino.com. Member of the Dakota Nation Gaming Enterprise.
All jobs are essential, especially yours. In District 20, your team of Randy Lem, Mike Belts, and Jared Hagert will focus on strengthening our economy and job creation. They believe in increased funding for K-12 education and strong support for Mayville State. As farmers, Lem, Belts, and Hagert know that agriculture will always be the backbone of the North Dakota economy. Elect your District 20 team of Randy Lem, Mike Belts, and Jared Hagert.
Paid for by friends of Mike Belts, Ham Johnson, treasurer.
This is your KFGO FM Minute. You can be a part of the holiday lights at Lindenwood. Your business can make or rent a display. Support our great community. Go to fmsertoma.com for more information. Access Clinicals is now recruiting healthy men and women 18 and over for clinical studies on weekends and weekdays, paying up to $2,800. Go to accesspays.com or call 218-284-2947. That's your KFGO FM Minute.
The riparian area is the strip of land adjacent to a river, acting as transition between the river and the uplands. They provide a lot of free benefits for the community. They reduce water pollution by filtering out excess nutrients, reduce erosion by anchoring soil particles with their roots, reduce floods by absorbing and slowing water, provide nutrients for aquatic life by dropping dead leaves into the river, provide shaded areas in and around the river, provide habitat for animals that use riparian areas for migrating paths, shelter, and breeding areas, beautify neighborhoods, provide opportunities to recreate. So what can you do to help riparian areas and keep all of their benefits in your community? You can pick up after yourself, plant native plants, and participate in Reforest the Red tree planting events in Fargo and Moorhead. To learn more about how you can help protect riparian areas by planting trees and shrubs along the Red River, go to riverkeepers.org/volunteer. This ripple effect is brought to you by the Red River Basin Commission.
There are all kinds of voters, like early voter Ed, or absentee Abby. There she is. Abby can't miss out. How about vote by mail Marie, or election day Dave? Ed does everything early. Dave's not late, but he's also not early. Marie's got this. They all made plans to make sure their voices are heard. What's your plan? Visit vote.nd.gov.